Well, thank you very much. You're all welcome to this very important TEDx. Thank you. I will begin by asking the question. Is there anybody among us here that is interested and really damn interested in becoming poor? Anybody? So that's why the subject of discussion this evening is very important this afternoon. Because almost everybody in the 7 billion people we have on the face of the earth is struggling to get rich or at least be financially stable. It begins with my country, Nigeria. It begins with myself. Today I'm going to share an experience for creating a financially resilient life as an African and as a Nigerian. Resilience is key. Why? Because the economies have never been stable since the time immemorial. Disruptions, COVID-19, banditry, call it anything, they will disrupt the way things happen. It requires resilience skills. And that is why when I think of this topic, I decided that, look, am I not the best example? So I'm going to give you a story that is trajectory over a period of 40 years. From the age of 7 to the age of 47 today, as I'm discussing with you. I started from a humble beginning. As a young boy at the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, I was very afraid. I'm a very scared person. I could remember those days. I was afraid of number one, I was afraid of markets and sales. That's the first thing that triggers my emotions. Whenever I was sent out, traditionally the way we send our small kids to go and sell 1 or 2 things, I resisted. I always came back home without selling a single item, or at most one. So I hated sales and self-management. 2, I was afraid of unemployment. Not only for myself, but for the people around. All these people that are going to school and graduating, when are they going to get employed? It wasn't my problem, but I was scared. 3, I was scared in almost everything that I don't know the end of it. And that is normally even the life of many people without discovering that they are in this garden. Then I look at the country where we come from. A country that is historical in terms of population, in terms of resources, in terms of population, in terms of resources, a country that is bestowed with almost the most important endowments in the face of earth. If you look at agriculture, we have 5 vegetational zones. If you look at minerals, in every state we have at least 3 minerals that could be explored in commercial quantities. If you talk about population, we have over 200 million populations, 227 as of last count. If you talk about, propensity to start a business, we were ranking in 2016 as number 1 in the whole world in propensity to start a business. But with all these advantages, we were faced with a lot of challenges every now and then. And that is why surviving in Nigeria is like ability to survive anywhere in the whole world. Because this is the only country where the inflation that happens, the numbers of inflation that happens in 100 years in some countries happens in just 1.5 years in Nigeria, and people have not died. Between 2023 and 2024, I conducted a survey, and I came to the conclusion that many people believe that prices quadrupled. And in the United States, it took 100 years for prices to double and triple. 100 years between 1920 and 2020. But in Nigeria, it took only 18 months for the whole narrative to change. And the people are still surviving and living. So it gives you that perspective that if we can create a system that will understand the factors that will make us financially resilient in Nigeria, it means They're supposed to be accepted and adopted as fundamental principles that will make any human resilient financially anywhere in the parts of the world. I would like to also mention, before I go back to the story, I would like to mention the problems that have, compounded the Nigerian project. The problems that have made us look stupid on the face of everybody in the world. The declaration of our country as the poverty capital of the world since 2018, and the narrative has never changed. It has never been in the news. It has never created change in our political system. It has never created a revolution in our political ideologies. It has never changed the way we see and talk and speak. It has never changed nothing. In fact, we have not even believed we are poor. We are lavish, thinking everything will change. But what is happening beyond that? In terms of the wealth of the nation, we are number 46. Meaning that we are not the poorest. The poorest is number 1. But still, because of inequality and the ability of us to share nothing from our experiences, means we are moving forever to destruction and to lack of direction. So financial resilience is key to our survival. And the 40-year journey that I personally passed came up with not only postulates, but global theories and hypotheses that I'm going to share with you today. Let me talk about the first 1/3 of my life. When I said I was afraid of sales, I was afraid of unemployment, and I was afraid of anything that comes with uncertainty. I grew up a young adult. And the next thing was the challenge of financial ability to survive within the scarce resources available. Ability to go to school every day. At the point, I used to trek 5 to 7 kilometers every day to attend my secondary school. From Kundila Zaria Road to Rufa College. On foot. And I would stay in the school until 2 p.m. when the school would disperse. And I would trek to maybe Gidan Murtala and take, I believe most of us that know what is mileage, and take a mileage to that place in the house. I couldn't afford a seat. You could imagine the trauma. Yet, I would arrive home, sit on my bed after a Maghrib prayer, and start reading before eating my lunch. I'll already be having my lunch and dinner waiting for me. It couldn't be transported down to me at school because I decided to stay from the SS2 to SS3. I decided to stay from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. every day without nobody's support, without no food, no water, nothing. So this is the challenge, the first challenge in the second part of my life, which means I need to develop internally resilient skills to make me survive. Otherwise, I couldn't be speaking this out. The next is graduation. Yeah, you're talking from secondary school. What is going to happen next? Employment. School. I got admitted, but before admission, what happened? I had to create my first company, the Elegant Educational Support Organization. And I started providing tutorial services. And what? I employed my first staff, who happened to be my former master as a secretary. That was my first task. And we did it successfully. That's why I got enough money to start my college. And I did it successfully. That's the second part of my life in brief. The third, when I grew up to a young adult, so many responsibilities. Very large extended family. Little resources to manage. How do I make it successful? I started thinking. Developing strategies, starting trying and failing. And I came up with the belief that I need to equip myself with the strategies to establish as many enterprises as possible. As I moved on, I started from lecturing job in 2003 to become an entrepreneur that established multi-enterprises. As I'm speaking with you today, I own 14 different companies and 5 different organizations. Out of these 14, 3 have not started yielding anything, but are in the startup stage. 1 is producing losses, and 8 are producing profits every year. That is one of the learning points that I developed internally by trial and error. The organizations, they are beyond just organizations that support communities, but organizations that are determined to make the change of narratives in the whole of the subcontinent. One of them that is monumental is the Northern Nigerian Economic Corporation, which I established for the sole purpose of bringing the Northern Nigeria's potentials, the global understanding. Northern Nigeria is grossly underrepresented in the global map. In the global map, whatever happens in the north is either Boko Haram, banditry, poverty, begging, and emerging. The narratives have never been gold, diamond, quartz. There's never been the glass side. In the heart of Kano, in Shanono local government and adjoining local governments, we have deposits of silica that will last for 50 years, providing the entire West African subcontinent with their glass supplies, which currently they get it from foreign countries. We cannot afford to produce a single piece of glass in the whole of Africa. But in Kano, we have this opportunity, and nobody knows about it. And that is one of those things that is addressed by one of these social entities that have established. Let's look at the narratives of, what do we learn from this 40-year journey? From the age of 7 to the age of 47. A lot has been learned, but when you look at the complexity of the challenges within the system, you'll be surprised. Can this challenge learned by one person be extrapolated to be applied by others? Yeah, I have my theories and I have my suggestions. One of those is the issue of the return on investment that we have bestowed on the Nigerian continent, on the Nigerian, soil. Nigeria is ranked as one of the most productive countries in the world in terms of returns on investment. That is why, forget it, nobody would not want to invest in the economic system of Nigeria unless the opportunities are provided. And the issue of our innovation index. The global innovation index puts Nigeria at very low level. Out of 133 countries ranked, Nigeria was ranked 113th. Which means innovation is one of the key reasons why Nigerians are not moving forward. And I want to tell you this afternoon that my solutions are what? Innovative, if nothing. So finally, over this 40-year journey, I came to understand and create and believe and implement 3 basic theories. 1, the theory of investing, not saving. Because we believe that most of what we do is supposed to be saving from our salaries, saving from our businesses, savings from our, gifts and whatever. But that will not pay. You only save when the economy is stable. When the economy is experiencing hyper inflation, you cannot save and make anything serious of it. You save $1 million today, after 6 months, the value of $1 million comes down to 700,000 naira. Time value of money. Time, as far as inflationary period is concerned, money, the fiat currency can never, ever, ever store value. So once generating the income, don't just create the money, get the money, save the money, after 6 months invest. If you save 1 million into 200,000 batches, after 6 months, I'm telling you, you have lost 50% of your money. So as you get 100,000, 200,000 this month, invest it immediately. When you get another 200,000, invest, don't save. This has gone contrary to the general beliefs of saving first, then investing second. But now, I personally practice and see the reality of investing first without saving in issues like this. Then, the second strategy is what I call multi-versification or multi-versification. location. It has never existed as a word in finance. We only know of the word diversification, right? But I came up with understanding that we should have another vocabulary word that will stand for multi-diversification. That is diversifying across various paradigms, not just across sectors. If you diversify in a disruptive economy like that of Nigeria, just across sectors, you're not going to get the best. You have to diversify across sectors, across time, across geographical locations, across multiple dimensions. If you diversify, let's say, across 5 industries in Kano, and Kano is shut down, you are shut down. Diversification has failed. If you diversify, in one location alone or in one sector alone, it has to be time. If you diversify all your money now, you're going to fail. So you have to stagger your diversification. Invest in January, invest in March, invest in June, invest in November, invest next year. So keep investing over time and across jurisdictions and across sectors. That was how I came up with the 14 companies that are still producing and making results for me, to this point in time. The last strategy, bricolage. That is innovative. Yeah. You have to innovate with improvisation. Improvise innovation. Finally, concluding this talk with just 2 important strategies that I have in 2 of my companies. One is the Goldman Savings and Credit Cooperative Society. I established it in 2022. It started operating in 2024. And as I'm speaking with you now, within a period of 9 months, I was able to post, as an investor, I was able to post a return on investment of 14.43%, personally coming to me. I invested over 100 million there, and it is coming to me just in 9 months. How? Because we apply all the 3 strategies. I did not invest the money in one time. I invested in stagger. Number 2, I did not just invest it like that. I brought up some innovative strategies. We created foolproof methods of collateralizing the loans. We train the people that will give the loans. We go to the last mile where no bank will go and compete with us. We go to villages where no bank, any institution has ever gone there. We profile them, we capture everything, and we give the loan, and 80% plus of all the loans we give in that microfinance goes to women. And that's what makes our women come back. The same thing happens in our onion storage model, which was so enticing and result-oriented that it is giving us like 500% profits, on investment rather than a mere 40-50% because we use improvised innovation. I will conclude with the words of Wallace D. Wattles. Wallace, in his book, published in 1910, The Science of Getting Rich, he said, there is a science, and it's a definite science, that will make a man rich. Anybody that follows what I will say in the book, he will definitely get rich with mathematical accuracy. And he said, the only thing and the only one thing that makes a man rich without mathematical accuracy is when you do things in a certain way. Today I'm confessing to you, I've been doing things in a certain way, and results have been collected. Thank you very much.